So hi guys. So today we'll start with making of the constitution. Let me erase this. Okay. Now let us start with the making of the constitution. The Constitution of India came into effect on 26 January 1950. So and transformed the dominion of India into a Republic of India. So a republic is a nation where republic is so called that if a nation has its own constitution and there is a democracy in it, है Okay, then uh, the India's dominion changed from India to a Republic of India. So means when the Britishers left, we are known as Republic of India. Okay. It had been drafted, discussed and finalized by the Constituent Assembly between 1946 and 1949. As we know that there are a lot of not there is just a 15 August 1947 is just the date that we got the independence, but before that in the 43 44 we know that we are going to get independent as soon as possible. So Constituent Assembly is made to make the constitution. So these are the time period. Okay. So the Constituent Assembly of India was formed following the cabinet mission of 1946 and had its first meeting on December 9, 1946. So its first meeting held on December 19, 1946. It witnesses the historic journey of India's independence, discussed various provisions of the constitution, took decisions on the national flag and is finally adopted by the Constitution of India. Okay. Now let us dig into the Constituent Assembly details. So in 1934 itself, M.N. Roy, who is the pioneer of Communist Movement of India, pioneer in the sense that whoever starts, whoever the first group or first person to start, okay. So came up with an idea having a so he has an idea that we should make a Constituent Assembly. Okay. Okay, then he officially demanded that, and it is set up the CA Constituent Assembly for framing the Constitution of India. It is set up. This demand for the constituent of a Constituent Assembly on the basis of adult franchise was reiterated by the INC in 1935. Okay, same demand was done by the INC on 1938. Okay, August offers in early 1940 Lords Linlithgow, the then viceroy at the 1940 there was a viceroy known as Lord Linlithgow. The response उस time पे यानी कि 1940 at the 1938 same demand was there to make a constituent assembly. At that time viceroy was Lord Linlithgow and he responded with an August offers. Uh, it includes the establishment of an advisory war council, the inclusion of more Indians in administration. Means uh, at 1940 the government was running by the British, so the Indian National Congress needs that. He said in the August offer that more Indians should be there in the administration part. Okay. Now recognize the right of Indian to frame their own constitution after the end of Second World War. So it's also written that Indians should frame their own constitution. Okay? The offer was, however, rejected by both of the Congress Working Committee and the Muslim League. Okay, these are August offers given by the uh, Lord Linlithgow at that time, but the Congress and the Muslim League they dropped the idea, or we can say rejected that idea from the Lord Linlithgow. Now let us go to the Cripps mission directly. The Cripps mission, headed by Sir Stafford Cripps, was sent in March 1942. It was entrusted with drafting a draft proposal on framing of an independent constitution after the end of World War II. However, it is also failed in its objective. Okay, it is also a proposal from the British government to draft draft proposal to frame an independent constitution, but it is also rejected. Okay, now cabinet mission comes in 1946. Okay? It is sent to India. The objective is to discuss the transfer of power from the British government to the Indian leadership. It held discussions with representatives of British India and the Indian states to set up a constitutional body. So cabinet mission was sent in 1946. The objective is just to make transfer of the power first, and after 1 year, because it is going to India is going to be independent, and so the British government will send a a transfer of power, or you can say the objective of that mission is to transfer of power from British to Indian leadership. Okay, so discussions have been had under Indian state to set up a constituent assembly. It put forth a scheme for the formation of the constituent assembly. Now the scheme was accepted by Indian National Congress and the Muslim League. However, it rejects the idea of two constituent assemblies. It means cabinet mission has the two constituent assembly idea, but that is not accepted by the Indians. So thus the Constituent Assembly of India was formed under the provisions of these plans. Now formation, how it is formed. On the November 46th, as we had discussed here. Okay, now we have discussed November. This is November. Okay. So after there is after like after the November 1946, the Primate the Assembly was constituted. Okay, because it is 9 of December, I guess, so not much time. Okay. Okay, assembly was to frame a constitution for India to enable a appropriate transfer of sovereign power from British authorities to Indian leadership to give adequate representation to various sections. The assembly had representation from existing provincial legislatures and from various princely states. So, see, the constitution has to make constitution. Then we need some persons whoever resides in India itself. We don't need external person to decide what comes in our constitution. Okay. So existing provincial legislatures, some of the leaders of the state we can say, and the princely states. Okay? Some of the princely states main leaders. So you can see total 389 representatives from entire India to form a constituent assembly. This includes 296 from the British India and 93 was 296 representative for British India. It doesn't mean that we have only Britishers in that. The representative from British India means the persons are Indian, but at that time it is not India, it is British India. Okay. 93 seats are allocated to the prime princely states. Okay. Now allocation, how allocation was done. Every province and princely state was to be allocated seats in proportion to their respective populations. Firstly, how constitutional assembly is formed, that if you have given a seat that particular assembly, you see there is a criteria to see the population of that state or that respective legislature. So what if the legislature is high, let's see, roughly for every 1 million population there was to be a one representative. Let's see. Okay, so if the selection of a person depends upon the population of that state, its own state. Okay? In British province, allocated seats were divided among the three principal communities. Means British provinces, like British areas, allocated seats were divided among the three principal communities, which are Muslims, Sikh, and general, except Muslims and Sikhs, whoever comes. Okay, mode of election. The members of the Constituent Assembly were not elected directly by the people of India. Okay, instead it was be partially indirectly elected and partially nominated body. What does it mean? The Constituent Assembly members were not, they're directly not the people of India. Okay, they are partially indirectly elected. Okay, they are then the like what we are doing to select a person from to represent in the constituent assembly, we are doing, people are not voting for them to be my leader. For let us assume there is a x state. At that time people are not saying that this raja should be our representative in the constituent assembly. According to the population of that x state, okay, according to that population, how many are selected, like 10 million is there, only 10 million one leader. Okay, now this leader may be from Muslims, Sikh and general except Muslims. Okay, means there is not directly involvement of the people of that state to choose the nomination, whoever comes, whoever represent them. Okay. Okay, the members of provinces are selected by the provincial legislative assembly. Okay. This was done on the basis of proportional representation by the method of single transferable vote. In the case of princely state, the representatives were to be nominated by the head of princely state. Okay, it is very easy. So okay, so participation of princely states. Okay. Initially, the princely states did not participate in the Constituent Assembly as they wanted to establish and rule their independent states after the exit of British administration. Because some of the princely states are there, they don't want to add up in India. They want their own constitution. They want to rule their own state independent after the exit of British. Now, representation, the Constituent Assembly thus formed included all important personalities at the time of exception of Mahatma Gandhi. Okay? It gave representations to various sections of society, including the Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs, Parsis, Christians, Anglo-Indians. At that time, there are two seats reserved for Anglo-Indians, but now it is not. Now, elections to the Constituent Assembly for 296 seats allowed to the Indian provinces were held in July-August 1946. INC won the first time elections was held. Then on the 296 seats, the INC won, and 28086 to that INC and 73 to Muslim League, and others are small to 15 seats. Okay. The members of the Constituent Assembly had their first meeting on December 9, 1946. Okay. This was boycotted by the Muslim League, which insisted on a separate state of Pakistan. Thus, the meeting was attended only by 211 members. So you can see now, 296 are the mark of Indian National Congress, but only 211 attended out of, I guess, 396. Not the 396, the 296 marks. Okay, 296 is the whole out of 208 seats were to INC, and okay, now it is correct. Total seats was 296. INC won 208, and out of 208, 211 members, 211 members, because some of the members are from here also now at this league. They don't want a separate state. So presided who when this meeting was first meeting was held in December 9, 1946, and held by presided by the Dr. Sachinandra Sinha, who is the oldest member of in the assembly. Okay. Dr. Rajendra Prasad laterally was elected as the president of the assembly. Okay. The assembly also had two vice presidents, H.C. Mukherjee and V.T. Krishna Macheri. Okay. Now, further, the representatives of the princely states who initially did not participate in the Constituent Assembly gradually joined it. Okay, some of them princely states are not joined, so they gradually joined it. While only six states were the part of Constituent Assembly in 1946, 47. Sorry, so in 1947, only six princely states were the part of the Constituent Assembly after the acceptance of Mountbatten Plan. So this is the date at which Mountbatten Plan. Most of the princely states took their seat in the assembly. The members of the Muslim League from the Indian Dominion also took their place in the assembly. Okay. So it is the changes made in the Constituent Assembly by the Indian Independence Act. Okay, sovereign body. So after the 1947 Act, it makes the assembly fully sovereign to work in the like solely work, and also legislative body. This meant that the assembly could frame their constitution, abrogate or any other law made by British government. So at that time, after 1946 Indian Independence Plan, the assembly got a power to abolish any rule made by British government and to make a new to frame or make a new constitution. Now, legislative body, as a legislative body, it performs two different functions: framing the constitution, enactment of ordinary laws in free India. Okay, so there are two things for legislative functions. So they are like framing the constitution and the enactment of the ordinary laws. Okay, Now, first Parliament of Free India. Now, it is very important. The Assembly became the first Parliament of Free India. Okay. Now, chaired by Rajendra Prasad to perform constitutional functions and chaired by G.V. Malvankar to perform legislative. Okay, the constitution was functions was held under the Rajendra Prasad and legislative was held under the G.V. Malvankar to perform the legislative functions. Okay. This continues till November 26, 1949, when the task of making the constitution was over. Okay, now final strength. After the partition of the country, the Muslim League members from the Pakistan Dominion withdrew from the Constituent Assembly. Thus, the final strength of assembly come down 389 was the initial strength, and it come down to the 299. Okay, so how it worked? So, in the third meeting of Constituent Assembly, the 13th December 1946, J and G moved the objectives resolutions. The resolutions laid down the underlying principles and philosophy of the constituent structure. The summary of how, let us read the summary directly. It is an independent sovereign republic with the power to draw up its own constitution. That is correct. Indian Union shall comprise territories of British India and territories that now from the Indian states and other part outside India and the states who are willing to constitute. So India should contain what? In British India, it contain British India, uh, princely states, other parts of India, princely states which are want to join the India. So India is that. All the territories forming India shall be autonomous units with all powers and functions of government and administration, save and except such powers and functions as are vested in the assigned to the Union. Okay, so all the territories are free to do with all powers are given, but the main functions like are vested in the Union or central government. We can say. Okay, all powers and authorities of a sovereign independent India and its constituent parts are derived from the people. Obviously, yes, the power and authority comes from the people of India because of the elections. Okay, all peoples of the Indian Union shall be guaranteed and secured justice. So justice may be socially, economically, and politically. So equality of status of opportunity. This is also fundamental right equal status before equality before law, freedom of thought, expression, belief, faith, worship, vocational. So subjective to law and public morality. Okay. So we'll see the fundamental rights later. Adequate safeguards shall be provided for minorities, backwards and tribal areas, and depressed and other backward classes. Okay, safeguards are provided. The territorial integrity of the republic and its sovereign states on land, sea, and air will be maintained according to justice and the law of civilized nation. Easy, very easy. Okay, now India will make its full and willing contribution to the promotion of world peace. Okay, this is also good. Like to India is willing to contribute in the promotion of peace and justice, to making world great. Okay. The Constituent Assembly, apart from framing the Constitution, perform the function. Also, what does Constituent Assembly do? It also enactment of ordinary laws in the country. Okay. A ratification of Indian membership of the Commonwealth in 1949. Adoption of the national flag, adoption of the international anthem or national song, elected Dr. Rajendra Prasad the first president of India on 24th January 1950. So these are some of the extracurricular tasks of the Constituent Assembly. It continued to function as the parliament of the country till the formation of first parliament after general election 1951 and 52. So from 1949 to 1951, this is going to happen, and after that 1951 to 52 elections happen. So it took this much of time to frame the constitution of India. Now let us move. Committees are in the constitution, so we'll discuss major committees as well. We'll discuss again drafting committees as well. So Union Power Committee headed by the JN Jawaharlal Nehru itself, Union Constitution Committee headed by Jawaharlal Nehru, State Committee uh, headed by, because we have to negotiate with the states to join the, like they have to given some powers, etc. So we have to negotiate with some of the states. Okay, Provincial Constitution Committee. So state will this and provincially it is handled by Sardar Patel uh, to make the princely states join the India. Okay. Drafting committee, obviously Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar Sahab. Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights, Minority and Tribal and Excluded Areas headed by Sardar Patel. And it has also the subcommittees, the Fundamental Rights Subcommittee headed by J.B. Kriplani ji, Minority Subcommittee by H.C. Mukherjee, Northeast Frontier Tribal Areas and Assam Excluded and Partially Excluded Areas Subcommittee headed by Gopinath Bardoloi. Okay, excluded and partially excluded areas other than those in Assam subcommittee headed by A.V. Thakkar. Okay, rules of procedure committee headed by Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Key committee headed by Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Now let us come to the minor committees. These are the major committees. Okay, minor are to committee on the functions of Constituent Assembly, which is G.V. Malvankar Sahab handled that. Order of Business Committee headed by Dr. K. M. Munshi Sahab. House Committee, then ad hoc committee, they can write that na. It's very easy to see. Now let us see more important details. Uh, Ad hoc committee, okay, drafting committee of constitutions. Who is so established in this time? 29 August 1947. Okay, now it was the most important of all the committees, Constituent Assembly Committee, who was established in this, and is most of because it has to draft the constitution itself. Now, seven members. Chairman is Dr. Ambedkar Sahib. Now, members are N. Gopalswamy Iyengar, Syed Muhammad Saidullah, Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer, K. M. Munshi Sahib, N. Madhava Rao substituted B. L. Mittal. Okay, due to health issues, B. L. Mittal has to be like give his resignation. Now, Dr. D. P. Khetan, so he was died and substituted by T. T. Krishnamachari. Okay, the Union Power Committees that we discussed and Union Constitution Committee were two of the committees in Assembly that gave the main points of the proposed constitution. The drafting committee took 141 days to prepare a draft. Draft is something like basic structure how it is to be made. So it took 141 days to make that. The draft became the basics of the constitution. Okay. Enactment and enforcement. Let us see the drafting committee that was led by Dr. Ambedkar, publishing draft Constitution of India. The final draft of the constitution on the first reading was prepared to be presented to the assembly on November 4, 1948 by Ambedkar Sahib. The second reading clause by clause review began on November 15, 1948 and ended on 9th October 1949. So clause by clause required, I guess, 12 months, 1 year approximately. They discussed and voted as many as 2473 amendments, done out of 7635 that were proposed in the assembly. Okay. So this much amendments are proposed and this much are done on the on the constitution itself. In November 1949, the third reading of the draft began. B.R. Ambedkar moved to motion to pass the constitution and it was agreed on by the assembly. The vote on the draft constitution was declared to be done on 26 November 1949 and 244 members out of 299 signed it and it is passed. The constitution that was put into place on November 26, 49 had a preamble, 395 articles and 8 schedules. The preamble was written after the rest of the constitution was written. It means preamble was written at the last. Some provision of the constitution pertaining citizenship, election, provisional parliament, temporary and transitional provisions and short title contained in article this came into after because some of them are comes later. Hmm? Some of the articles like main articles come like people signed the constitute the assembly legislative assembly signed that constitution on 24th of January 1950, but some of them are becomes before that the important ones. Okay, now we'll see enforcement. The rest of the constitution came into effect on 26 January 1950. It was on the day of 1930 that Purna Swaraj Day was celebrated, and the tricolor going of independence was unfurled after the Indian National Congress passed the resolution as its Lahore session. Okay, this day is called the date of commencement. Okay, and date of commencement was 26 January 1950. Okay, people of India began to live under the Constitution of India from 26 January 1950 itself. But some of them comes before that, no? Articles. The Constituent Assembly was discontinued. Okay, it became the provisional parliament for India until a new parliament was formed in 1952. See, Constituent Assembly was then like discontinued, and the INC will continue up to 1952 for the government work. Okay, with the commencement of the Constitution, Indian Independence Act 1947 and the Government of India Act 1935. So two articles if you see, na, Indian Independence Act 47 and Government of India Act 1935, as well as all other laws that changed or supplemented them were abolished. The abolish of Privy Council jurisdictions acts on 1949. On the other hand, was still in place. Some of them are in there, but some of them are abolished. So, expert committee of the Congress will having these persons. Contributions are done. Prepare of number of notes. Procedure making provided basic recommendation about the autonomous zones, provincial governments. Okay, resolution provided. Now, criticism. What are criticism done? So, criticism of Constituent Assembly is that non-representative. Critics have contended that the Constituent Assembly was not a representative body since its members were not directly elected. Obviously, yes, I have told you that people of Constituent Assembly was chosen on the basis of population at that province and according to their religion, and it was chosen directly by the head of that state, or we can say legislature of that state. But it is there is no hand of people in that, okay, to choose the representative, okay. Not sovereign. According to the critics, the Constituent Assembly was not a sovereign body because it was constituted by the British government proposals. Obviously, yes. So some of the influence they carry, obviously, uh, this body was not sovereign because they are just the like criticisms done because you have seen now the all the proposal these to make an independent constitution is from the side of uh, Britishers, so they have some much, not much, but some influence should be there, huh? They further claimed that the British government had given the assembly permission to meet. Long time taken, so according to the critics it is also the time was taken is very long. So Congress dominated. Obviously, it is called that it's Congress dominated, and also it is said it is a lawyer and politician dominated. So Hindu dominated also. It's an critic. Okay. Originally, our constitution was written in the English language only. Later, due to demand of people in the official translation to the constitution, it is also converted to 58th Constitutional Amendment Act 1987, which inserted Article 394A. ठीक है? The authorized president to publish a constitution in Hindi language under the authority. Okay. So every change amendment made in the constitution till okay means this Hindi translation was done after in the 1987 and after the 58th constitutional amendment. Before that, there are 57th amendments are done, so they are must be converted to Hindi also. Okay, Hindi translations of the constitution and every amendment shall have the same meaning as that of original text written in the English. Means the meaning of English to Hindi should be same. Okay, and Hindi should be considered as the authoritative text. Okay. So important facts: elephant, it was adopted by the symbol of Constituent Assembly. First legal advisor Sr. B.N. Rao. He was the Secretary of Constituent Assembly. H.B.R. Iyengar. Mukherjee Sahab, Chief Draftsman. Okay, it was the calligrapher of Indian Constitution, Prem Behari Narayan Raizada, and obviously Boss Sahab. So it is decoration part, calligraphy of the Hindi version done by Krishna Vaidya ji. Okay, so we'll do next lecture as short as possible in a very less time span. So we'll make sure it happens ASAP.